I mean, I don't think anyone should want a housing crash. I can understand why people want house prices to cease rising and perhaps even come down. But a housing crash would be a disaster because you would have a domino effect through the economy. You would have bank loans going sour, banks going bust, government bailouts being required. When banks go bust, a whole load of other businesses suffer, and you get what, a widespread collapse in the economy. So a housing crash is not in anyone's interest. I understand why people want house prices to slow down, perhaps even come down a bit. I mean, the really interesting thing for me here is that we've, in fact, had rampant inflation for 12 years. That's going to sound odd to people watching the programme, but we have. We had rampant asset price inflation at the beginning of the 2010s through to 2015, 2016, as a result of the government printing money to rescue the banks first time round, devalued cash, forced up asset prices, and ripped away, actually, the ability for the working and middle classes to buy their own home, and thereby ripped away aspiration. What we're seeing now is consumer prices going up as a result of supply-side problems, a breakdown in supply chains caused by lockdowns. Lockdowns effectively put oil and gas production on hold. Reserves were shut down, manufacturing processes were closed down.
So you wouldn't have had any lockdowns?
And I wouldn't have had any lockdowns. Okay. We can have that debate, and I can just finish the point that I'm making. So what we've got is supply-side inflation, and actually you don't control supply-side inflation by raising interest rates. And this is going to be quite an unconventional view I'm about to espouse. But the reason I think we're really raising interest rates is not to curb inflation. It's to ensure that we can keep up with the Federal Reserve, who are raising interest rates. Because if we don't raise interest rates, as they do, we'll see pound collapse and we'll see more inflation being imported into the United Kingdom. So it's the prevention of something getting worse rather than the control of inflation. What we've got is a fundamentally broken economy, and I think the Bank of England needs to be very careful in the way that it raises interest rates.
I was just about to say, I'm going to Kevin, but before I do, what point do you think it should stop? We're at 3.5% now. Where do you think stop now? Or?
So you've got to stop looking at what we're doing here, and you've got to just look at what's happening in the States. And the States, basically the Fed is saying it's reaching the top of its interest rate cycle, and I think we will reach the top at about the same time.